Alright, who's ready to feel immense happiness, or perhaps depression, depending on how you feel about this show? Billy Corgan's NWA Powerr is pretty terrible, and I think I love it. The hilarious gimmicks, the small studio audience, and the women all make it an enjoyable watch for the Hawk. Although, the Hawk must learn from the last NWA video. No Natalie Markova in the thumbnail. We gotta protect the damn children. Last time out, we witnessed the Hard Times pay-per-view ending with a double cage match. Both matches were actually pretty good, but EC3 lost again. I usually enjoy my monthly NWA video, but I think this is probably the last one, as you'll see by my meltdown at the end of this video. Who's ready to cower? It's NWA Powerr. The show starts with Damien Sandow claiming that he's just signed the most lucrative deal in NWA history. What's that? A subscription to Billy Corgan's OF? A used bowl of muesli and a reach around? His new contract from Billy Corgan includes a title shot of his choosing. Why would any of that make sense? He literally doesn't wrestle, ever. He's not worth bird turd. Is this how desperate we've got NWA that now there's a manager in the main event scene? His Doom 2.0 tag team walk up during his rant as they think he's going to choose to give them a tag title shot, even though they've had plenty of tag title shots. They're losers just like Sandow. We will find out what his choice is later on. Powerr has a new intro which sounds like it was ripped from the first ever Gran Turismo on the PlayStation. Colby Corino takes on Sam Adonis. Imagine calling yourself Adonis when you look like this. I don't know, maybe it's his real surname. Strange surname though. I don't have a surname, because I'm just a stupid bird with a Hulk Hogan face smashed on top of it. The winner of this match will enter the Jax Dane Memorial Tournament. They start out chain wrestling. They stop doing that eventually and Adonis wants to shake his hand. Colby drags him into a sort of Samoan drop and a standing senton too. Samoan drop should just be safe for Samoans and fat guys, and Colby Corino is neither. Adonis stops his top rope dive with an arm drag for a 2. Adonis now throws a big back elbow but gets distracted jaw-jacking with the crowd. He struts about like a constipated peacock. Corino comes back with a handspring into a cutter for a double down. When they get up, Colby knees him in the jaw and bounces off the top into an arm drag for a 2. Adonis responds by clotheslining him down for his own 2 count. Moments later, Corino wins with his little driver. EC3 begs us to attend the next set of NWA tapings at Dolphin, Alabama. Kylie Page gets a video package where she is rehabbing her arm in a swimming pool. Her dad tells her that she needs to get back to the NWA to help her sister protect her belts. Strangely, they do like a Baywatch scene with her rising out of the pool. Don't know why. The guy who looks like the Garth Ozark wants to stick his Kenzie in her page. What a strange package that was. A women's tag title match is next. Misty Marks and CJ. She reminds me a bit of a Brazilian Sky Blue. They take on the champions who are Big Mama and Kenzie Page. I vaguely remember them winning the tag belts in a match where Big Mama took the place of the injured Kylie Page. I bet you one full bag of birdseed that Kenzie does nothing and hits one cutter and wins this match. Big Mama looks hungry. She throws CJ away like a bag of carrots at McDonald's. CJ dumps in a nappy of fear and tags out. Remember when that one tag team Caribbean Flow did a breakup angle and then they both completely disappeared from the show? It's poor continuity from the NWA. Not the first time by a long stretch. Kenzie has the tag and Mystique drops her on her face and hits a dropkick for a 2. The tag is made back to CJ and together they get a double snapmare into avalanche attacks for a 2. CJ misses a lion salt and Big Mama is in. Big Mama hits the X Factor for a 2 count. Paige comes back into the match who's closing in on 2 years as the women's singles champion. Despite that, she struggles to even tag her partner properly. CJ eventually wakes up and hits a springboard crossbody and a big knee to Big Mama. Unfortunately, she starts gorming out and it almost costs her, but Big Mama misses her leg drop. Both girls tag out. Misty almost wins with a fisherman suplex. The match breaks down. CJ kicks Big Mama who turns around and choke bombs her. Misty hits knees to the face but also turns around into the Kenzie cutter for the 3. Right, that's it. Get the belt off this girl. I've been watching this damn show for months now and I have seen the sum total of 1 move from Kenzie Page. We've all heard about the 5 moves of doom, but Kenzie Page has 1 which makes you done. Silas Mason is chatted up by Orlando Jordan. He demands to give him a drink of water, but he just wants a beer instead. Somehow he can't manage to break in his little game. They discuss the upcoming tournament and Big Silas Mason is feeling confident. Everyone's favourite grandma, Ricky Morton, reminds us that his son is also in the tournament. He is concerned that his son will get beaten up and we will see a Southern Six match against each other. Silas is annoyed that the old bastards don't understand him, but he likes Alex Taylor because he offers him a beer. This barroom promo goes on for a long time. Kerry Morton versus Wrecking Ball Lazurski in another tournament match. Wrecking Ball is of course representing the BBWs, the Bold Boys of Wrestling. Kerry jabs at his boobs and he's proud of his work. Kerry is having a bad day though and he runs into a brick wall. The Bull uses his size to pin him 6 times in a row. Pretty sure that's illegal in wrestling. I want to see someone use that as a finisher now. A wrestler who is so fat that he essentially squashes opponents with constant pins until they run out of breath to kick out. Kerry Morton is smacked on the ropes as he seesaws about for a while. Once again, the ref doesn't care about this. Now Wrecking Ball hits a press slam on Morton. The Bull misses his big splash though and Morton kicks him out of the ring. Kerry Morton sends Ball into the ring pole but struggles to return him to the ring. Kerry crossbodies back to the ring for a 2. He tries again with a DDT which doesn't have enough effect. Wrecking Ball wakes up throwing Morton about and he hits an ass to the face and a big splash. Morton has to resort to a kick to the nutsack behind the ref's back and a running knee to the noggin. Just a 2, so Morton just simply does it again and that's how it ends. Damien Sandow threatens world champion Bram. This goes on forever talking about how great Damien Sandow is and how many demons Bram has in his closet. For some reason they keep showing a slow motion little person. Sandow blathers on forever, so basically it sounds like he's going to go for the world title shot. I have zero interest in that. It's like, I know they're trying here, but Sandow has been a complete joke manager on NWA for what feels like years now, so how am I supposed to buy this guy as a world title contender? On to the second episode of Powerr. Starts with Bram telling us how much he loves the gym. Wow, could never have guessed that. For some reason, one of the slime balls is eating something. The TV champion walks up and says from the look of this town, nobody's going to use this gym. Kenzie and Kylie Page have tension because the younger Page sister wants to be with this long-haired dork instead of her sister. A strange segment which at times left me scratching my beak, and other times I laughed. So much that it hurt. Gags the Gimp versus Alex Misery in a hair versus mask match. Not sure why there's a wrestler as a referee. Maybe it was NWA trying to save on money. Misery sends the Gimp into the wrestler referee. Don't you hate matches where if you pin the guy you get to take their mask off, so naturally you spend the entire match wasting time trying to remove their mask? Just beat them first, you moron. Misery hits a miserable kick before almost smashing the referee and getting rolled up. The commentary team tell us that he has worn his Gimp mask since he was a little kid. Misery has him beat, but instead he goes back to try to remove his mask. After a big back elbow, Misery makes a pin, but still just a 2. He misses a crazy flip dive and the Gimp has a chance. He pats his horns with happiness and starts thrusting them into his opponent's gut, but he misses a charging one and almost decapitates the referee's gut. Misery hits a springboard cutter, surprisingly not the finish. Alex Misery misses a couple more moves and suddenly Gag sticks out his tongue and locks on a brutal submission. Misery doesn't want to lose his haircut, so he fights that off. Once again they crash into the referee, but it's still not over. Never expected so much time dedicated to this. They end up on the top rope where the moron Misery once again tries to remove Gag's mask. The Gimp fights that off, but Misery kicks him and puts him in the Tree of Woe. Misery wants to treat him like a piñata, which the referee won't stand for, so Misery attacks the referee instead with the stick. Gags also attacks the referee with the stick. For some reason they have formed an alliance, so they beat down the referee together. So nobody loses their mask and nobody gets their head shaved. Don't you just love it when a company doesn't go through with the stipulation? NWA, you often do this. Learn from the mistakes of TNA. If you promise something, you have to go through with it, otherwise fans just won't believe anything you say in the future. Back in the Southern Six bar, and Kerry Morton is very excited for the heavyweight tournament. Sewage Mason isn't sweating facing Colby Carino. He says he's only here because he's a second generation guy who hasn't actually earned anything, before he realises that he's essentially describing Kerry Morton. They're interrupted by a barman who isn't Orlando Jordan, but he's equally wacky. They want more booze. The segment ends with Alex Taylor saying they ride together and they love together. Probably not the best catchphrase ever. We have a women's tag match now. Muzstar and Tiffany Nieves taking on the Money Birds, unrelated to the Hawk. They actually have some pretty fun offense. In case you guys were wondering, the It Girls are no more. Ella Envy has left the NWA as her contract has expired. A pretty big miss for them, as she was a 4-time champion and just a lot of fun to watch. But she was an even bigger miss for the Hawk, because whenever I use her in a thumbnail it seems to work. Wonder where she's off to next. And even more so, you had Tiffany Nieves compete in a violent cage match just to throw her into a random makeshift tag team? Seems like a waste to me. These money birds are athletic and pretty fun. Everyone's just doing what they want in this match. Muztar and Nieves don't seem to get along too well. One of the money birds GG throws Nieves with a double underhook suplex and enziguri to Mizstar too. It's not enough though, Mizstar hits her with a Jake Roberts DDT. Tiffany screws her own partner by putting the money bird's foot on the rope. Nieves gets kicked away and Mizstar is beaten by a roll-up. The money birds are flying high and making all the girls sigh. Aaron Rex is at his own wrestling school. He's surrounded by BBWs. I have no idea who he's even talking to. Everyone looks the same on this damn show. He wants help from the Bold Boy wrestling squad to take out Bram, who is apparently causing him issues. What issues? He hasn't done a thing to you. This show is so damn inconsistent. The TV champ is also here with a slime ball. These guys are very committed to their gimmicks. Sandow asks for help from the TV champion. He chuckles for roughly 10 seconds. Sandow keeps trying to big time him and yelling at him, "Do you know who I am?" Yay, a show built around Damien Sandow. Where's my brick? Ugh, it's a tournament match now. A huge bold man called Frank and his manager Lumperdale Dundee. This man, simply known as Frank, is actually the former Murphy from Gunner and Murphy fame. This new look for him is actually better. He looks like he's been putting some hard time in the gym too. His opponent is the non-binary nightmare, Max the Impaler. The manager dumps in his dungarees with fear. Frank boots Max down straight away. These two were apparently former partners. Not sexually, I mean tag. The match moves along in slow motion. Eventually Max hits a spear and they go back to lying around. After the break, Max hits a flying knee and a back senton. Crocodile Dumbass causes a distraction and Frank picks up Max and hits a sack of shit. He also hits a chokeslam, but he's not in a rush to win. Instead he tries another chokeslam which is fought off for about a moment until Frank hits a choke bomb for the free. A horrible, boring match, and what is it with this guy having bad one-name gimmicks? Murphy, Jedias and Frank, they all suck and there's just no charisma to be found here. The show ends with Bram making a rare appearance. He name drops some NWA legends and hopes to be like them when he grows up. He's interrupted by another member of the BBWs. No idea on earth who this one is. He tells Bram he's got his back no matter what happens. Bram is seemingly confused by this statement as he thought everything was going okay. The bold boy, who might be Paul Pirate Burchill, tells him he needs to show him something on his phone. Whatever it was, Bram is enraged, but we don't get to see what it was on the phone, but it has something to do with Sandow. The third and final show is once again starting out in the Damien Sandow Academy of Life talking with a bunch of dorks. He wants them to help him capture the world title. Wow, the TV title is actually on the line, a rarity for this TV title. Carson Drake, the champion, defends against Alex Misery. Not him again. This loser should be bold by now, like everyone else in this company. This match will have a 6 minutes and 5 seconds time limit. Not sure why. Drake slaps him, but then dumps in his nappy of fear. They return to the ring with Misery hitting a springboard crossbody. Drake gets his nutsack messed up. You won't be laughing about that one. Misery tries to go old school, but he's jerked off the top. Carson dances with happiness. He comes close to winning with a big back elbow. Misery comes back when he misses a dive, but he hits a back body drop. The miserable one hits the springboard cutter, but just like the last time, it doesn't get the JOB done. Misery sends Carson to the outside and dives on top of him with a moonsault. He brings him back to the ring with a diving elbow drop, but just as he hits that, the bell rings as the time limit has expired. Drake lies on the floor laughing. I'd be laughing too. He probably won't have to defend that belt for another 2 months. Kenzie Page meets with random long-haired guy again. I love how he's been in 4 segments of this video and his name hasn't been mentioned a single time. Who is he? Paige brags that she's just purchased this house for NWA money. It sounds like Kenzie will be facing Mark Over soon. The old man, who I believe is supposed to be a dad, tries to be a star again. So many pointless characters on this show who the NWA just randomly throws out there and expects you to know they are. And can you call yourself a second generation wrestler if your dad just wrestled a few matches and nobody cared about him? I don't even know who he is. Pirate Paul Burchill faces Zion in another tournament match. Where the hell is Mike Mondo? He was literally the best thing on the show.
What about Mondo?
Where's Diet Viscera? Where's Indiana Jones and Monster Man? Bold boy Billy Corgan is pissing me off booking all these boring wrestlers. I know what the fans want to see. I don't care about this match. Paul Burchill is a loser who's lost every single NWA match he's ever had. Anyway, how did he qualify for this tournament? Why is Crocodile Dundee also the manager of Zion? Zion almost wins with a flatliner into submission, but the Pirate walks the plank to meet the ropes. Burchill says screw it and locks on a crossface to pick up his first NWA victory. Burchill sucks. He's boring, bland, emotionless, and I can barely stay awake when he wrestles. Looks like I'm going to have to see more of him now too. The Southern Six trade war stories. Alex Taylor was hanging out with Kid Cash in a bar and they stole some scooters or something. They are desperately rubbing their 7 brain cells together to analyse the tournament brackets. Ricky Morton thinks the final is going to be Thrill Brady versus Kerry Morton. Morton isn't sweating that though because he's a massive star now who's selling out independent wrestling shows. A tag match will be the main event. Odinson and Kratos face Daisy Kill and Talos. I can't watch this. It feels like these 4 have been fighting for years. No one cares. It's the same old crap guys that Billy Corgan has been kissing up to for years. These people aren't going to get new viewers. I never thought NWA could get any worse, but it has. On past shows, there was at least something charming and silly about it. It feels like everyone worth watching has disappeared. Whatever, the Immortals win with a pounce. The show ends with Bram and a superfan. The fan asks him a million questions about his life in a frantic manner, but Bram doesn't look impressed. Actually, I don't think they're fans, I think they're the Slimeballs tag team, but you can't blame me as he looks nothing like a wrestler. They threaten Bram, saying they have information about him. They blather on together, get to the fucking point, please. This show is enraging. Bram says he isn't interested, I know how he feels. You complete morons, NWA. 3 shows, and this is how you treat your world champion. Some 30-second appearances where we don't actually get to learn anything about him. When Nick Aldis was in NWA, he was all over the show. Hell, even Tyrus showed up most episodes. This is the drizzling shits. How is anyone supposed to care about Bram as world champion when you don't give him any TV time? Instead, we have to have Alex misery matches. Well, this show used to make me happy, but now I feel nothing but misery. No good wrestlers. Anyone remotely entertaining is gone. Mike Mondo actually had some momentum, my comment section were actually interested in him, you could have had something here NWA, but no. There is a reason nobody cares about your shows, and it's because they suck, with terrible wrestlers like gimps, skinny goths and masked morons. You have literally no self-awareness of your own show. You ignore people fans care about, and instead it's a bunch of indie dorks headlined by Damien Sandow. People disappear for months at a time and then come back and you expect us to care. I actually think the Hawk might be done with this show. Who could possibly want to see Damien Sandow versus Bram? I don't think I could get through it. If you made it to the end of this video, you really are a gut-punching champion and the master of the cab driver slam. And if you don't agree with that, I don't give a damn.